It is 12:15. You know what time it is. Of course, it is time for the Sports Hour. This is Curtis Collings, of course, presenting the Sports Hour, and no Nolan today. We're going back to the same old, the usual topics on the side. A little baseball talk, a little fix the hair before we get right into it, because it's important. I'm on camera, and here we are. So I cannot wait to go. We've missed out on a ton of stuff together, like a ton of stuff together that we could have been talking about, and I haven't because, of course, I mean, here in Canada, I took Labor Day off. You know, enjoying myself. While while you can. So took Labor Day off, enjoyed myself that day, and then I had big football talks yesterday, so we haven't gotten any, and I literally any baseball talks in. I talked a little bit about the football. Of course, the only football, though, I talked about was the North Carolina Tar Heels, which, yeah, that was a game and a half. Um, I said everything I needed to say about that. I mean, for one drive, it looked great, and then for the rest of the game, it looked awful. So, yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. But what I do have to talk about is the fact that it's been a while since we've talked about general sports, since we talked about all the things that I like to talk about. You know, the Raptors, the Maple Leafs, and then, of course, the Blue Jays and the Panthers. There just hasn't been a ton of news. It's been very light. I mean, we're getting really close to the start of the NFL season, and Gabe Davis re-signed with the Bills. I mean, okay, I don't know. It's been a very slow last little bit, and I'm definitely like, a day off was very needed. Is all I'll say. It was very needed to keep in the swing of things and keep the whole sanity up and whatnot. We're gonna just hope that the Wi-Fi isn't too bad. If not, we might need to take a break, fix that, and come back. We'll keep our eye on it as we keep going, because we are starting to drop a few frames. If you're noticing that, that's all that is. It's not your end. It's definitely my end that is lagging. So we'll see how this continues. I'm keeping my eye on the stats back here. It looks like we're back. I think. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we look good. Um, it's always something, huh? And it's always something, and I guess that brings us into the Blue Jays. Pretty good, because it's always something with this team. We're just going to roll as if nothing's wrong. And if something's wrong, I'm sure you guys will let me know in the chat. And as always, I love reading chats from you guys. I love the interaction, everything that comes with it. So please do fill up that chat if you got any pressing questions, if you got anything else. If not, I've killed about 3 minutes here. Good to hear it's running well on your end there. We'll see how it continues on for the rest of the show, as, of course, killed a bit of time in the intro, so we'll jump right into it. This is Curtis Collings presents the Sports Hour. The Blue Jays have a ton of games that we got to talk about together. The entire Brewers series, and then 2 games against the Reds as they look to finish that up tonight at 6:30. This is leading up to a huge series against the Yankees. That's going to be on Friday, and AEW Dynamite is tonight. And if we do have time to talk about it, we'll do a little Thursday night football preview. And if we don't have time, we talk about it tomorrow. So let's just jump right into it with the Blue Jays versus Brewers. It's gonna be an interesting time. The short of it is we won a game in our 3-game series, dropped 2 against the best team in the league. We didn't get swept. That was the biggest thing that I was looking for. But if you want the long, then make sure you stick around. And then if you have been watching the series against the Reds and you want to hear me talk about that, make sure you stay tuned, because in about 20, or so minutes, we'll be jumping from this Brewers series, depending on how mad I am, to jumping into the Reds. So, again, without further ado, we'll jump right into it. Game 1, and that was a rough one. This is exactly what I was scared about going into this series, was the fact that we are facing the best team in the league and they're going to let us know. And so this game would be a 7-2 loss, which didn't feel great. Shane Bieber getting his second start of the season, second start for the Blue Jays, and this time he'd go 5 innings of just 2-run ball. So 2 earned runs on 5 hits. He would finish with 6 strikeouts and no walks, which is huge. No walks for Shane Bieber. He has been so good with his command. 5 1/3 innings. So he did pick up an out. It's the thing, and I'm noticing this all season with this Blue Jays team, is that starting pitching is what's going to win you games. If you want to win games, you got to have good starting pitching. If you want to actually, put the W in the win column on the stat sheet after the game, you need your bullpen to also be good. It's all about pitching. I mean, the bats or whatever. If you win a game 2-1, you're good. It's a win. But if you lose a game 5-2, then that's sad, and that's pitching. When really 2 runs ain't great to be producing as an offense, seeing as this was a 7-2 loss, and it was really not great. But what was great was Shane Bieber. I mean, going 5 innings of 2-run ball, that's putting your team in a position to win games. Bieber would give up a home run in the 6th inning before getting the yank a couple pitches later, a couple batters later. That's when the best bullpen in the league would be coming in to save the day. Yes, I love the Blue Jays bullpen. I love them. They're so reliable and they're so good at their jobs. And I'm not complaining about a thing because they're the best bullpen in the league. Moment of silence for the bullpen because they should just rest and. Really mad at the bullpen. So Little would come in after Bieber, and Little and Nance are these guys where it's like, oh, they're pitching good lately. Good for a relief pitcher. Maybe they should get more high leverage starts. And then we give them high leverage starts, and this happens. So we'll get into that. I swear. But Little would come up after Bieber. He'd walk a guy to put runners on second and first, and then allow a run to score after, which would be then credited to Bieber. That's why he had 2 earned runs. Bieber only pitched in 1 run. Mitch, we will be getting to that. And gotta go means DFA'd. It means just off this team, out of MLB. Little would get a strikeout to get us the 2 outs, and then we'd bring in Varland, and he's just so amazing. I love it when Varland comes into games and pitches for the Blue Jays. It makes me so happy. Varland would allow a 1-run single and a 2-run double to make the 0-0 game go to 5-0. So shout out the pitching staff, baby. Shout out Little, shout out Nance, shout out Varland. They just upset me. It would only get worse in this one as Brule would come in and allow more runs. To be exact, 7. He wouldn't allow 7. He would allow a couple more runs to make it a 7-0 game. We would score 2 pity runs to get back into this one and lose 7-2. It's just like, it's games like that where it's like, all right, it's one game. It was a tough game, but we got a good start from our starter and we got 2 runs. So, the bats came alive a little bit at the end. Maybe they keep that going into the next game. And maybe we win it. That was my big thing, is going into the weekend, I told you guys on the show, is I thought if we got one win was going to be Saturday. Saturday I was penciling in as our win day. It was either going to be Friday or Sunday. That was a loss. I thought it was going to be Sunday, but instead it would be that Friday game. So 7-2, being the first loss, not a fun loss. Not a fun game in general, if we're being honest with each other. That was horrible, but it's over, and it led into game 2. But that's the big thing is like 7-2. You're really going to lose 7-2. And it's really emblematic of the problems that this team's had all year. All year. And more specifically in this last month, which has felt like a year with how long it's been and how kind of grueling the schedule was. I mean, all of July felt like it lasted a week, and all of August and now early September has felt like a year. And that's because of the bullpen. It's crazy how much a good bullpen really makes time fly. It's like having fun. Currently, though, with the bullpen, not having fun as we get into game 2 of our series. And guess who threw the game again? Guess who? Oh, it's the bullpen. Oh, it's Jeff Hoffman in the bullpen. I love the bullpen. We have the best bullpen in the whole league. And you know what really makes me mad? What makes me feel genuinely crazy watching this team is Kevin Gausman going 7 innings of 1-run ball. You're telling me our starter is going to pitch 7 innings, allow 1 run, and we're going to choke it away. It is one of the most aggravating things to watch in all of sports. No, not just baseball, not basketball, not hockey, not swimming, not volleyball. Any sport is having your starter pitch a quality start, keeping you in the game, mind you. 1-1 after 7 innings of play, and we give them our bullpen. What a reward! Oh, I feel so good about that bullpen coming out. Let's get into it. If you missed the game, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because we would lose 4-1. 4-1. How? Are you kidding me? 1-1 going 7 innings and we would lose 4-1. Well, you want to know how? Well, it would be 1-1 heading into the 9th. When my favorite player, Jeff Hoffman, Jeffy boy, oh wow, he would just save the day. The first batter he'd face would go yard in 3 pitches, 2-1 ball game. Second batter he'd face would go yard 2 on the first pitch of the at bat, and then he'd give up another run because we kept him in the game. And that made it 4-1. And we'd lose. Because we're not going to score 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th in a game where we've only gotten 1 run of action. And it was a sac fly from Vlad. No. Because that would end the game. We would lose 4-1 and that would be that. That would be, dust off the hands, dust off the mitts. Because, I mean, we all knew this was going to be a loss well before we got into it. But whatever. Here now. It is the most aggravating thing. I again touched on it earlier. It's like for single game stuff. I mean, the Leafs losing in the playoffs every year. That's more frustrating, sure. But there's no one thing the Leafs will do in a game that frustrates me as much as what this Blue Jays team does. Every single time the starter is done. Every time. Without fail. While we're talking about the bullpen woes, we might as well get into it because it is absolutely ridiculous. If I could find my note about it, because it doesn't make any sense. It makes me so angry, like genuine anger. We've blown games against the Reds, Brewers, Twins, Marlins. We still won that game, but we still blew it. And Pirates. 5 teams, 5 series in a row that we have either lost the game where we were the favorites and should have won, or were winning and gave up a lead in the 8th, 9th, or 10th, or whatever innings. That's 5 series in a row dating back to August 17th. Dating back to our series against the Rangers, where we would win 2 and lose 1, and the one we lost wasn't a blown game. We lost that game fair and square. Which, I'm not saying we're not losing all these games fair and square. We are playing baseball. That's not out of the realm of possibility. It's we're not being fair to our starting pitchers, and we're not being fair to the bats that are trying to put runs on this board for this damn team to blow the run. It's consistent, and it's making it I feel like I'm asking for a different result every single time, and I'm not getting a different result every single time. Albert Einstein, I'm pretty sure, is the one that coins that as the definition of insanity. Someone coined that, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it with this team. I would love to not be angry. I would love to not be this animated. I would love to say I'm not putting on. But if I were to talk about this team and this bullpen off camera, I think it would be worse than what I am right now. So you're getting the respectful version of me, because this has been atrocious to watch lately. Thank God. Thank goodness we're still winning games here and there to not make me absolutely lose my mind on this team. But I'm getting close. And if we do lose the game tomorrow, oh, we'll know about it. So we're facing the Reds. Currently, the Reds are 70-69. I would love to knock them down to 500. We're a better team. We're 80-59. So if we don't win tonight, that would be us dropping 2 games in the series against the Reds, which would be one of the more regrettable things of the season, especially heading into our Yankees series. But I digress. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Talk about that as after we get through the Red series. So we still got to finish up this Brewers series. So the last game, I mean, taking a drink of water, acting all slow about it, but it was fine. This was our one and only good game. So, I mean, I say good game. Yeesh, that's not how you like to do it. That was ugly. I mean, good is one thing. I say good just because it was a W, but ugly game. Bad game. I didn't even write the final score down because I did not like this one. It was an 8-4 win. An ugly 8-4 win. Getting into it, Scherzer would take the mound in the game here. It would be not his finest work. He's been super reliable, way more consistent than you would ever, assume him to be. And this game was just not it. 4 innings pitched, allowed 4 runs and 9 hits. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Luckily for him, our bats actually showed up. They scored 2 in the first. They, as in the Brewers, would score 2 in the first. We'd score 3. We'd add another run in the second. They wouldn't. Of course, they would tie it up 4-4 in the third. Scherzer would get one more inning after that and then get the yank. But luckily, the fourth and the fifth, the runs just kept coming. And they really did not stop. We scored 8 runs in this one. And our starting pitcher gives up 4 runs. But we won 8-4. Our bullpen held on. What? Genuine shock by how good the bullpen was in this game. Little, Farland, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Nance, and Hoffman all didn't allow a single run. And they were all pretty good when it came to allowing hits too in this one. I like looking at the stats. Nance only gave up 1 hit. Varland didn't give up a hit in a inning and a 2/3. That's great work from Varland. Little gave up a hit. Hoffman gave up 2 hits. Sir Anthony Dominguez 0. Beautiful game. The hits at the end of the day were 13-13. You don't want to give up 13 hits in a win. That's a pitching thing, but it's the run prevention. I hadn't been seeing it up till that point, and so this was huge for me, at least as a Blue Jay fan. This was huge. And in this game, the bats also finally came alive. Springer, Vladdy, Lucas, Clement, Heineman, and Straw all drove in RBIs. Great game. Needed game. And shout out to George Springer. Through and through, shout out to George Springer. We'll talk about him more when we jump over to the Red series, but he has been unreal. Unreal lately. This guy has been on a heater of all heaters, and for a 35-year-old man, craziness in the best degree ever. So, That wraps up our series against the Brewers. I mean, I promised you it'd be about 20 minutes, maybe longer if I got angry. I got a good amount of angry, so no. 20 minutes, I promised. We will be talking about the Blue Jays facing off against the Reds. As, again, I've gone over everything I need to go advance anything past the seventh inning. I think to myself, all right, game can end at any moment now. 1, 2, 3 good hits, and that bullpen will pressure of itself. And, well, we'll get into game 1. 4-2 was the score heading into the ninth inning. I think you know where I'm going with this. As Bassett pitched 6 innings of 2-run ball, he had 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, while allowing just 5 hits. Phenomenal. What a game. What a game. Why do we keep ruining these great outings? What is wrong with us? Genuinely. At this point, I'm very serious discussions will be had about what is mentally wrong with this bullpen. Do they want to self-sabotage? Do they hate each other? Are there issues in the clubhouse? Because it feels intentional. How much, how often, how poorly we're blowing games, game after game after game. I would love to come on here and be positive. I like to put a positive swing on things. But this was just atrocious. I talked earlier about how Hoffman was probably going to get a little demotion, and guys like Little and Nance, who put up good reliever numbers, were most likely than not going to get a little bit more high leverage situations. Well, Nance, now's your time. Come in, close the game. We got a 4-2 lead. Let's see what you can do. Getting walked off hurts. I mean, we know this as Blue Jays fans. We're getting used to it at this point. It doesn't feel good. Giving up a walk-off on back-to-back batters, like back-to-back runs on back-to-back batters for the walk-off, hurts more. That is, what a painful feeling. Like, you give up 1 run to one guy, make it a 4-3 game, and it's like, okay, let's settle in, come on, calm down, and then dead. Next batter. They don't even give you a chance to breathe. They don't even give you a chance to hope. They kill your hope once, and then they fully kill you the next time. And then you think, well, there's no way we're winning the next game now because of how just disheartening that was. Anyways. Yeah. Nance would allow 2 runs, but the save opportunity would be all Littles. And it would be Little who gave up the runs, not Nance. I apologize, Nance. I don't apologize, Nance. You gave up 2 runs of your own to make it 4-2. Little then made it 4-4. I think actually Little made it 5-4. And in my notes I have it, and in my brain I have it, is that this is the stuff, it's not the word I used in my notes, but we'll censor. This is the stuff that is going to kill us in the playoffs. You don't win playoff games if you're giving up. If you're doing this, you don't win playoff games if you're giving up run after run after run after run. Like in these situations, you can't go into the ninth inning up 4-2 and lose the game. Not against the Reds, who aren't a playoff team. Because if you're doing this against the Reds, you're going to do it against the Yankees, you're going to do it against the Red Sox, and you're going to do it against the Astros or whoever we face. However the cookie crumbles, we're going to be doing this against them. I know it, because good teams find a way. Yeah, so that was game 1 of the Red series. Frustrating. Second game, also frustrating. We won. Yay. But there are deeper problems in that win. Deeper problems being 9 runs given up. 9 of them. What a disaster. Again, thank goodness. Thank everything out there that our offense shows up sometimes. How did we score those 12 runs? That's a great question, because how things have been going lately, I mean, we have been scoring a good amount of runs. In our last few games, it's been 12, 5, 8. And then before that, it was 1-2. So it's been very, very up and down. Like you wouldn't believe this season, especially in the last little bit, up and down as it gets. But in this game, our Toronto Blue Jays would do pretty good. I remember a lot of home runs, especially George Springer. And I guess we'll talk about something positive before we get into something negative, just because it's been a while since I've talked about something positive today. So we'll do it. George Springer, inspirational, man. If we want to have a little fun with it, I'm looking at the comment section right now on his player profile on Real. This dude is on something for real. Unk definitely still got it. I'm mad I didn't project this. Cash, GOAT, PED test, people are saying. Goated, criminally underrated player. And that is the key right there. Criminally underrated. This was a guy who deserved to be an all-star. Deserved at least to be an all-star replacement for, I think it was Julio Rodriguez was hurt, or he was the replacement. Springer deserved that spot. Me and you both know that. We both know that. And he continues to show us why. I mean, we talked about it last week, how electric he's been since he's returned since his injury. And his last few games, I mean, 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Game before that, 1 for 3 with a stolen base. Before that, 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. 2 bad games in a row, 0 for 2, 0 for 4. But before that, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, 4 for 5 with 2 home runs, 2 for 4 with 1 RBI. A couple games before that, 3 for 6 with a home run. Criminally underrated. This is what we signed him for. We signed him to be this player. It's what I've talked about in the past, that everyday superstar outfielder that I felt like we were lacking for a bit. It feels really like George Springer is back, and it's awesome. Awesome to watch him. As he would be a big part of the runs scored in that game. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Bo Bichette would also go yard. Talking about guys that have been electric lately. Bo Bichette. 1 for 4 with a home run in that game. The game before that, when we lost to Cincinnati, he would go yard. I think that was in the 9th inning, too, to put us up, and then it wouldn't matter. He also went 4 for 4 against Cincy in the game we blew. Previously to that, a couple 1 for 4, 2 for 4, 2 for 5s, 2 for 4. I mean, this guy is a hit machine. He's getting hot at the right time. Vladdy's getting hot at the right time. The starting pitching's getting hot at the right time. And you already know what I'm going to say. You already know. I don't need to say it. But I'm going to say it anyways because I'm that mad at them. The bullpen is cold at the exact wrong time. And of all things to get cold, it's the bullpen. Arguably the most important part. I mean, in my opinion, it goes most important starting pitching, then bullpen, then bats. You can win a game 1-0 if your pitching's good enough. And that's a bad outing from the bats. That's why they're the least important to me. If you have your starting pitching good and your bullpen good, you should win 90% of games. Unless you get shut out at the end of the day. Unless you're losing games 1-0 or 2-0. If you're starting pitcher, again, and like it has been, our starting pitching has been borderline perfect. Borderline. Of course, a bad Barrios game that we are literally about to get into. And then a couple bad games here and there, a bad Scherzer game. But other than that, games by Gausman have been borderline perfect. Games by Bieber have been outstanding. Games from Bassett, who is typically like a C plus B minus level pitcher, outstanding. So I guess there's no beating around the bush. I got to talk about it. Jose Barrios would go 2 innings pitched while allowing 6 runs. 2 of them were earned, which is horrible. But 6 runs is 6 runs at the end of the day. You're putting yourself in that position. Who cares that you only 2 of them were earned runs? That's all that's going to affect his ERA at the end of the day. But it's runs. It's runs. It's hits. He would allow 5 hits and allow 6. 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 6 unearned. Disaster game. Disaster from the fielding. Just disastrous there. And then we won, thank goodness. Eric Lauer would also come in. 2 1/3 innings pitched. He would allow 5 hits, 2 earned runs with just 2 strikeouts. he's kind of lost it. Sucks. It really sucks. And that's what benching a guy will do. We ruined Eric Lauer. As much as we made him to start the season, we've ruined him now. It's disappointing too. Pitching, as any pitcher out there knows, is completely a mental battle. It is completely you versus yourself in your own head, and then, sprinkle in a little bit of try to make a guy miss. But at the end of the day, if your stuff is good, it doesn't matter who is batting, you're probably going to beat them. That's why you're a major leaguer. But if you get in your own head and you don't believe in your stuff, say maybe you went August 17th to like August 27th without pitching. I wonder who did that. That would ruin your confidence. And we ruined his confidence. I feel horrible. I feel horrible for Eric Lauer. We ruined his confidence as a team. John Schneider, that's on you. It's on you. It's on whoever the pitching coach is. I don't know if it's still Pete Walker. It's on these guys. Because you're ruining these guys' confidence heading into the playoffs. Which is ridiculous. Now, we're minus one pitcher that we can trust at the bullpen. And we're already low on that. So, very disappointing. In my opinion, it's got to be John Schneider. He has to go. After this year, he has to go. If the Raptors can fire Dwayne Casey after being a number one seed and still losing to LeBron, we can fire Schneider after being good in a regular season. Because I'm done. I'm so done with him. I'm done with the way he manages teams. In other Blue Jay news, though, picked up Isaiah Kinner-Falefa. He played his first game for us, went 0 for 3. He would score 2 runs for us, so, shout out to him for that. As, not the finest game. He would get a hit by pitch, so, hey, there's that, I guess. But yeah, not the greatest for IKF. Whatever, he's such a nothing to me. David Schneider, IKF, they're just worse versions of Ernie Clement. And Ernie Clement isn't even an everyday ball player. I just like him a lot. So, these guys aren't special. Although David Schneider has been really good lately, too. Another guy who it's borderline worth it to go and do a little deep dive on because he produces. Underratedly, he's been producing. Okay, well, let's ignore the fact he went 0 for 4 yesterday. Shh. Because I'm trying to hype him up. I don't like him typically. I don't think he should be an everyday MLB player, especially not in the outfield. But he's been kind of good. Kind of good. So 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Yikes. Not good. Game before that, 0 for 1. Game before that, 0 for 1. So that's actually not good in the slightest. But those were both, I think those were off the bench pinch hits. Bottom of the 7th. Again, I feel bad for being negative about these 0 for 1 games, but he's coming into a game in the bottom of the 8th and the bottom of the 7th and is expected to produce offense in games where we're losing and gonna lose. He's getting put in unwinnable situations, but he's not even getting a piece of a win regardless. It was before that. It was 2 straight games. It was the last game against the Twins where he scored the 2 home runs, which was great. And then the first game against the Brewers, he was 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Great game, but not an everyday MLB player. Especially with the fact where I'm just going to list them off. Internalize these stats. Do with them what you will. But this is Davis Schneider's last few games. 0 for 4, 0 for 1, 0 for 1, 1 for 3, 2 for 3. 0 for 1, 1 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 1. Do with that what you will. I'll formulate my own opinions. He's not an MLB player. He is a AAA. I'm pretty sure it's a quadruple A. It's not an actual level. He is below MLB, above AAA. He is a quadruple A player, and he has been expected to be an MLB player, and I think it's unfair to him, which sucks because I'm gonna rip him a new one for not being good, and especially tonight if he's not good. I'm gonna rip into him tomorrow. Because 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Ugh. I really, really, that's just, as a hitter, as bad as it gets. So, 12:50, talked about the Blue Jays for a good amount now. Closing thoughts on the boys. Again, I'm just going to retread stuff I've already said, but say them again differently. starting pitching. I guess we'll tailor it to the playoffs. So starting pitching, 2 thumbs up. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I think watching playoff games, the first 6 innings of almost every playoff game should be fine. Should be solid watches. Nothing scary, nothing out of the ordinary. 2 runs, 3 runs, 4 at most is what I'm expecting from the starters in the playoffs. When they have to, up their game, up their A game. And then the bats. Here, you know what? Here's how I'll say it. I'll give you a grading on my confidence. 0 to 100. Starting pitching, 92. I think 92, like 92% of the time, they're going to be great every time. It's that 8%. I just don't like it. The bats, I'll say a solid 78. I'm not quite at that 80% of the time I'm comfortable with them. But I'm just there. If the bats can string together 3 straight games where they score more than 3 runs, I'll say I'm in. But if we have 3 straight games where we score runs, and then do 2 straight games where we don't, and then 2 games where we do, and then 3 games where we don't, this up and down stuff that I'm sick of, then I'm going to lower that confidence. I might only be 60% confident in this Blue Jays bats. Depending on how September goes, I think 80% will be my max. Whereas with the starting pitching, I'm 90% sure they're going to be great. I am convinced. And then the bullpen. There is one guy singular that I like in that bullpen. One person, and it's Sir Anthony Dominguez. I think he's great. I think he's the talent of the bullpen. I think everyone else sucks. Straight up. They would strike me out. Sure, yeah, whatever. I'm sitting in a room talking about them. I'm going to be critical because they have just been bad. DFA Jeff Hoffman. I don't want him to play in the playoffs. And then when we do lose a game in the playoffs because of Jeff Hoffman blowing it, I'll say I told you so. Because, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, yes, so excited. So excited about the playoffs. And there's so much to be excited about. But there's also a lot to be nervous about and pessimistic about. So we'll see as that goes forward. September's going to be huge. And this series up against the Yankees that's coming up for us is going to kind of define the season, if we're going to be honest with each other. Because if we lose these games to the Yankees and we lose this, okay, here we'll look at the stats. We'll look at the Carfax. We'll look at the standings. Because if we're looking at the playoffs in the American League right now, actually not even that. If we're just looking at the American League East, how are we doing? We're 2.5 games up on both the Yankees and the Red Sox. 2.5. In 3 games, we could be 3rd in the division. And it's not fun when I say that. That is a bad feeling. That's a bad feeling. Yeah. When I say it out loud, it's worse than when I wrote it down earlier. Oh, wow. We're going to lose this division lead. I'm fully convinced we're losing this division lead. And there's nothing we can do to stop these teams, especially going against the Yankees for our next series, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a 3-gamer. And I'm correct. So, if we drop all 3 games to the Yankees, we will be behind them in the standings. And if the Red Sox win all 3 of their games, who I will pull up who they're facing, satisfy that curiosity. Because if they win all 3 of their games too in their next series, then then we're 3rd. And they get the Diamondbacks, who are 69 and 71, and then they get the Athletics. So a mid-team and then a bad team. So we got to watch out for the Red Sox. We got to watch out for the Yankees. We have to beat the Yankees. Have to. At least twice. The Brewers, I was content with just getting the 1 win. Not against the Yankees. I will be genuinely angry if we only win one, because we're screwing. We're kissing the season goodbye, especially if we lose today. If we lose today, then we borderline have to sweep the Yankees. Every win, every last win matters 10 times more now. Simple. It's the short and the sweet of it. We have to win every game. 2.5 games back. I mean, we're going to be a wild card team. We're going to be a playoff team no matter what. But I want that bye. I want that first round bye. I don't want to be faced. I don't want to face the Yankees or the Yankees. The Yankees or the Red Sox in the first round. It's the last thing I want to do. Give me the second round, sure. But it looks like we're going to have to be a wild card team, and wild card gives me bad memories, real bad memories of the Mariners most recently, and then not making the playoffs a few times. So it's going to be big. The playoffs are going to be huge for this Blue Jays team. I'm excited. I'm nervous. But being nervous makes me human. So we'll talk about AEW Dynamite. Of course, that's going to be tonight. In my head, I only have one match known, and it's a 4-way. But going on to AEW's Twitter, the Twitter machine. Yes, we do have some good matches tonight. Some really exciting matches. So the 4-way match, the one that I did know about already, is Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Jet Speed. That's Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight facing off against the Don Callis family. That is, of course, Kyle Fletcher and Josh Alexander, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. That's going to be an awesome match. And if you do go on Twitter, I'll just put it up to the camera. Here's our team of good guys. Typical, good render. The background is successfully cut out. Here's the Bucks. So the AEW Twitter clearly having a lot of fun with this one. I didn't have the graphics ready. Sorry. So we're doing it the fun way. I just show you my phone like we're in the same room together. That's going to be a ton of fun. I mean, watch this match if you can. This is the first time in years that Hangman and Kenny are tagging with each other. Probably the most storied past of AEW, which involves them being friends in the Elite, breaking up, being tag champs together, breaking up, getting together, breaking up. I don't think they broke up that many times. But, being depressed, chasing alcoholism, joining Don Callis, all these things, evil turns, redemption turns, and arguably the best story in AEW history. And they're tagging tonight. And if that doesn't give you chills, I don't know what will, personally. So I'm really looking forward to that. Also tonight, we have Mercedes Moné facing off against Alex Windsor for the TBS title. Wow. On free TV. I thought this was penciled in for All Out. These two gals going one-on-one against each other. But no. Free TV, and it's going to be a great match. I'm really excited. It's going to be a big test for Alex Windsor if she can hold her own against Mercedes and deliver a great match. And I think she will. She just needs to stay out of her own head and deliver a great wrestler. And then Mercedes Moné is Mercedes Moné. We don't even need to talk about it. She's going to be great. She's going to be the boss. Best women's wrestler. Second best women's wrestler on the planet right now. Second to Toni Storm, of course. AEW Women's World Champion cannot be overshined, especially after she did beat Mercedes Moné once already that I saw live. So that's going to be awesome. Really exciting. But I'm scrolling through Twitter. That's it. From everything I've seen. I'm scrolling. And I don't want to talk about it again. I don't. I really don't. But why? Why do I only know 2 matches tonight? Seriously. This makes no sense. No sense. I'm going to watch the show regardless, and I'll do as much as I can to try to convince you to watch the show. Because I know that there's a good chance that if you're watching this, it's 50-50 if you're going to watch the show live in my mind. So what can I do as a media member to make you want to watch the show? Other than just talk about how I announce matches. I can talk endlessly about how the storylines are awesome and how there's cool feuds going on. We're building to All Out, and the wrestling is the best wrestling I've ever seen in my entire life. But that's not enough nowadays. That is not enough. You cannot sell anyone on that anymore. Because why don't you just go watch WWE? I know what that is. It's whatever. I know what WWE is. It's wrestling. Why should I watch this other wrestling? That's wrestling. Why watch other wrestling? And that's why you promote what's happening weekly, like a regular TV show. Oh my goodness. Regular TV shows very often will have on next week's episode, and then play a little snippet, play a little teaser, and then at the start of episodes, we'll do a little recap. Why is the only why is AEW being treated this way? Of, we're only going to give you a tiny little snippet for next week, and then you're blind, and you better watch. It's wrestling. It's not normal TV. As much as I put it on the same level as normal TV, where it should be, treated the same, it's not. It's sports. And why would someone watch a 2-hour live sporting event that's filled with stories versus just watching a show they already know? And why would they switch? It's because they know what to watch. They know what to expect. They know to expect Mercedes Moné and Alex Windsor to tear the house down. And they should. And they know that they don't know that this 8-man tag match is going to be great. They should know that, but that also is another thing. The TBS title match is being built. Really good on Twitter. Really good on TV. They're running great promos. I mean, Twitter. I watched it earlier. This 8-man tag match, they're mentioning a little bit about it and how they're not mentioning how special this is. The fact that Kenny and Hangman are tagging again. We have not gotten any explanation for their story. We have not gotten any explanation for why this matters, other than the fact it's Kenny Omega and he's a big name and Hangman's the champ. If you just started watching AEW in 2025, you'd be so blind. So blind. And the show is not doing enough to help. There is one thing of, you shouldn't be constantly retreading on the past. Fans will get it, and you'll make your longtime fans mad. Understandable, but I'm a longtime fan, and I want the best product for the new fans. It's what matters more than me. Honestly, I'm fine. I can watch recaps. I can listen to the announcers tell the story of these guys over and over and over again, because I do it anyways. But someone who only is giving it a try on a whim, you need to get them emotionally invested. And how do you do that? You explain things to them. The big problem with Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada is they took way too long to explain why that mattered and why it's one of the best feuds in wrestling history. And AEW fans maybe didn't understand the gravitas of this situation. And it's consistent. It happened years ago when Viking Del Higo, I'm pretty sure that's his name, came over, or Vikingo came over and had that banger free TV match with Kenny Omega, one of the best matches of the year. And we had no idea who he was. Normal fans. My brother knew because he's on the internet and he's a smart guy. But me and my dad, we didn't really care to look it up. We're just watching our show, and this guy appears and we don't know who he is, and then they don't explain it. And then he has a great match and we love him. And at the end of the day, that is all it really takes. Have a great match, sell me. But sell me before I watch the match. Give me a reason to watch the match. Give me a reason to walk through the doorway. Because I'm sure it's going to be great on the outside, or on the inside. But if the outside looks ugly, or if the outside's invisible, I'm never going to get in. So that's my issue. Maybe AEW, maybe Tony Khan, they don't want normies. They don't want normal people to come into their shows, and maybe that's just how it is. Maybe the For the Sickos tagline is more than that. Maybe it is really how they live and do business. But I disagree with it. I mean, keep booking for the Sickos, but advertise for the normal. That's the start and the end of it. And that's all we know about AEW Dynamite tonight. Literally tonight. And we don't know basically anything else. What we do know about, though, is Thursday Night Football, which will be tomorrow and will be very exciting. I cannot wait for NFL action to be back. And this is going to be a fun game. You would hope. We will see. Maybe it's a bad game. I'm not putting that energy into the world. It's going to be a super fun game. This is going to be Cowboys versus Eagles, the first game of the season. And it is going to be played. And then, yeah, back to the former AEW point there from Dave Collings. I think Tony expects us all to be overall Mars of wrestling, which we are, but the average person isn't. And that's my final point of book for the sickos, advertise for the normals. Anyways, this game, it's gonna be super exciting. I'm trying to remember if this was a special game where they're going out of the country, but I cannot remember for the life of me. Now, Lincoln Financial Field, this is going to be in Philly. This is a normal game. We're not getting one of our custom overseas games. Not like last year when we started the season in Brazil. No, we're starting the season in Philly. Philly, the home team, the Super Bowl defending champions. We'll see what they can do this year. If you watched the show yesterday, you know I think they're going to be 10-7 and scrapping and clawing for that last playoff seed. I think the Super Bowl hangover is going to get to them. We'll wait and see. I mean, tomorrow night, that's where it is. That's where it lives, and I cannot wait. Looking at the over-under, the line set by Real here is 46.5. I'm going to hit the over, and 85% of people are going to do it with me. That's 5.4K hitting the over, 933 hitting the under. So I agree with them. The spread is Philly by 8.5, which if you don't know, Philadelphia has to win the game by at least 9 points, a field goal and a touchdown. And with that spread, I think Dallas is going to cover. I don't know if Dallas is going to win, but I don't think Dallas is going to get blown out. I think this is more likely than not going to be like a 28-21 or a 31. Hopefully not 21. If it's 31-21, then the spread loses and then Eagles fans rejoice. But honestly, I think Dallas covers that spread, but I don't think they win. I'm riding with 15% of people. So that's 2.6K think that the spread for the Dallas is going to hit. That 8.5, that's 14,400 people think that Philly's going to cover that spread. We'll have to wait and see, but scoring by, like, beating them by a touchdown and a field goal, that's going to be a tall order. And yeah, sure, this Dallas Cowboys defense is horrible, but we might just get like a 35-32 game. We might get something like that, which I'm cool with. That'll be a ton of fun. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys, if you are living under a rock. No, that's Friday night, Dave Collings. Close, though. Good try. I'm sorry, that's mean. But that's what I was thinking of. That's where we're getting our Brazil game. That's going to be Friday Night Football, Chiefs versus Chargers. It's going to be Thursday night. It's going to be the season opener. That's going to be Cowboys versus Eagles. Not tonight. Tomorrow night. We're just doing our preview now. We'll do another little talk about it tomorrow. And then Friday will be the day we talk about the Chiefs a lot. So I know that you're going to be excited for that one. Dave Collings in the chat there. Shout out my dad. A worthy Chiefs fan, so can't be mad at that. That will be, of course, talk about that Friday morning, and then when we come back on the show Monday, it's going to be a big football day, and I cannot wait. It's going to be a ton of fun. So tomorrow night, Eagles versus Cowboys. So what I was getting at is if you do live under a rock and you didn't see, George Pickens is now a Dallas Cowboy. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver to CeeDee Lamb. That's super exciting. Cannot wait to watch how they air up the ball and, the passing offense. I can wait to watch the rushing offense. Javonte Williams, I love you. North Carolina Tar Heel, you're not very good. Not anymore. Too many injuries. It sucks. It zapped away all the talent that you had. So good, but gone. You're the lead back? I mean, good for you, man. But it's not going to work. I mean, Rico Dowdle was their lead back last year. and that wasn't great either. I think Javonte's better personally, but not by much. And then Sanders is also not good at all. Don't like him. I mean, Miles Sanders, we saw him on the Panthers for the last little bit. Very bad. And then Jaden Blue, who might honestly be the best runner in that room at the moment. So, gosh, Cowboys. And then they lost Micah Parsons. We talked about that trade on the show. That ruins their defense. He was the piece that kept that unit together. That kept it a piece. Now they've overpaid Bland to be a cornerback, and still have, Trevion Diggs. I don't even know if it's Trayvon Diggs. It's I'm pretty sure that's his name. It's not exciting. I can tell you that much. So that's why people think the spread is going to hit for Philly. They think they're going to put up like 40 plus points on them, which I don't blame you. I mean, this Cowboys defense was giving up 40 plus points last season with Micah Parsons. It's not a good unit, but I like the offense enough to stay with them. If they do pigeonhole themselves into a passing offense and that gets shut down, then yes, I could very easily see Philly covering the spread. Regardless, it's going to be a great game. We'll talk about the Eagles as well. So they've remained pretty unchanged, but we will get into their changes. So, they lost a couple defensive pieces, which was pretty big. Milton Williams being the big one, who for a couple seconds was a Panther and then officially became a Patriot. Still mad about that. I will be all season. He's going to be one of my least favorite players to watch because of that. Because we needed him a lot. But maybe Philly didn't. We'll see how they recover. Still got a really good defensive unit. And then their offense is still Jalen Hurts, still A.J. Brown, still Devonta Smith, still Saquon Barkley. And it's like what Nolan was talking about yesterday. No. Saquon's not going to go for 2,000 yards again. No way. But he'll be quite good. That O-line's great. The wide receivers are great. Jalen Hurts can air the ball out. People disrespect him. He can. Doesn't show it a lot in the regular season. He shows it in the playoffs. But he can. And this team's going to win games. I just think there's going to be, maybe some injury issues. They played a ton of football these last 2-3 seasons. And it's going to be a tougher season. Who picks up the win? I still think the Eagles do. I don't like this Cowboys team. Sure, we talked about them a whole bunch. Doesn't mean I have to believe in them. I don't. So that's what we're looking at tomorrow night. And that pretty much wraps up today's episode of the Sports Hour. We got about 2 minutes left to, just relax and talk about how excited we are about NFL football coming back. Of course, the big football days are going to be Thursdays, Fridays, Mondays, because, games are played on Thursday nights. I'm going to be talking about them Friday nights and then Monday mornings. Mondays are going to be huge football days. I'm sorry, Blue Jays, if you play big series on the weekends moving forward, because Monday, and it's going to be big for the Panthers. We all know they're facing off against the Jaguars in that Week 1 game. Cannot wait for that. I think we're gonna win. A lot of people see us as underdogs in that game. I'm pretty sure the spread is something around 3 for the Jags. So the Jags have to win by bare minimum a field goal to cover the spread. I think we're just gonna win anyways. So we'll wait and see. Hunter Renfrow officially the starting slot receiver. So we'll see how that goes. If you're in a couple fantasy leagues and he is still in free agency, pick him up. See what happens. Because I think this is going to be a supercharged Panthers offense that I cannot wait to watch get underway. So that will be Sunday. Cannot wait for it. It's gonna be a super fun game. Regardless of the result, it's going to be a fun game. So we'll look forward to that. We'll look forward to tomorrow's episode of the Sports Hour, as we'll have football to talk about. No, we won't have football to talk about. We'll have more previews to go over. We'll have Blue Jays to talk about, and who knows. So let's hope for the best for the Blue Jays tonight. Let's hope for the best for that first game of football. As that wraps up, Curtis Collings presents the Sports Hour.